All right, welcome guys to another video brought to you by your one and only literary pharaoh. What I saw last night was a masterclass. I'm going to just get right into it. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. If you watched many of my videos before, I thought that Teofimo Lopez possessed the style to give Shakur problems because I thought about his athleticism, his speed, and his movement. And Shakur's brilliance simply just neutralized Teofimo Lopez. As a matter of fact, and this is not hyperbolic language here. I'm not trying to exaggerate here. He made Teofimo Lopez look like an amateur, and that's difficult to do. Teofimo Lopez is a very good boxer, good to great boxer. He's not bad, but he looked bad last night. Now, some of you guys who are Teo fans, because I'm not a fanboy of either one, I simply just gave my takes of how I think that people should not be sleeping on Teo. To be honest with you guys, I was a little bit anxious last night watching the fight. Well, before it happened, because I'm like, oh my God, it's here. I was nervous. I had nervous energy, but the energy was a good nervous energy, not a bad nervous energy, because I was so excited. The anticipatory feelings that I had inside of me was sort of driving me to be in that anxiety state. And as I watched the fight, I'm like, okay, he is just picking Teofimo Lopez apart. Teofimo Lopez could not do anything. The one round that Teofimo Lopez did win, which was the 9th round, he won that round because Shakur literally took that round off. And he didn't even win that round by much. This doesn't speak to how bad Teo is. Teo is still good. I think that we just need to give Shakur Stevenson his flowers. He's that good. And I knew he was good, but I needed to see how he would do against a fighter like Teofimo Lopez. And as you can see on my screen, Shakur Stevenson is unbeatable. I know what you guys are going to think. Oh, yeah, he's not that good. He's fought tomato cans. Is William Cepeda a tomato can? Is Teofimo Lopez a tomato can? Because many people were picking Teofimo Lopez to win. I couldn't make a pick. What I was simply doing was giving people reasons to see how Teofimo Lopez can win. And don't be surprised if he did win. He didn't come close to winning, folks. Not close. And I hate to say this, I know many Mayweather fans are going to be upset about this because he's like a god to y'all. And other people have said this. This is not originating from me. I'm sure other people are saying it too, but I'm not saying it because I heard other people say it. I'm saying it because I really feel this way. I feel that Shakur Stevenson is the only fighter in this modern era that's close to Floyd Mayweather. You can't touch him. I was watching the fight. I'm like, damn, he's like a cat. His reflexes are insane. He just neutralized everything that I thought Teofimo Lopez could do. He just stripped him. He just stripped it away from him. That's what you call a masterclass performance. Yeah, there was not a knockout. Yeah, they weren't in the ring doing rock and sock and robots. They weren't just having a brawl, just banging it out. Pause. They weren't doing all that. However, the fight was still a masterclass performance. I was excited about it. I just kept waiting, thinking that, okay, maybe Teofimo Lopez will turn it up, but you can't turn it up against a person that you can't hit. You can't turn it up against a person that's unbeatable. He's unbeatable, folks. You don't make a world-class fighter look like an amateur. And for many people who said he was going to run, and I'm not one of them. I've never believed that Shakur was a runner to begin with. He had a couple of fights. He had one fight with De Los Santos with a broken hand because he tried to survive. He wasn't going to sit in there and exchange with a guy with a broken hand. So he was on his back foot a lot, and people said he's a runner. I told you guys, look at my past videos. William Skull ran against Canelo. I've never seen Shakur do that. He did that one time. So we take one fight and we use that as a label. That's how I knew that many people who called Shakur a runner are not boxing fans. and I hate to use the term casuals, but you're not even a casual. You don't even watch boxing. He doesn't run. Because being defensive and running are two different things. So he literally stayed in the pocket yesterday, so much so that he stayed on the front foot and had Teofimo Lopez going backwards. Watch the fight. Watch the fight. So in 2 fights now, I want you guys to start giving this guy his flowers, because everyone said he was going to run against William Cepeda. He stayed in the pocket against William Cepeda. Took more blows than he normally would take, but he looked marvelous, looked good in that fight. Now he fights Teofimo Lopez, stays in the pocket as well, and dismantles him, picks him apart, literally. Masterclass performance. And for many of the people who left comments on my YouTube channel saying things that affect that, oh, is it going to be an easy fight for Shakur? My apologies. I apologize. I do, because I was wrong. I didn't think that it would be easy. Now, I knew he could win. And I always said, I said, this is going to be a hard fight. This was an easy fight. If you look at Shakur, it didn't even look like he was in a boxing match. I left a comment when I was watching the live commentary on Claymore Range channel. I said, this guy looks like he can go another 15 rounds. He could literally fight 2 fights in one night. He wasn't gassed. He wasn't breathing heavily. This was a sparring match. Actually, I wouldn't even say this was a sparring match. This was a clinic. He basically set up a camera and said, everybody watch me. Watch my boxing lesson. I'm going to teach you guys a boxing lesson on how to beat a boxer. He basically put on a boxing lesson on how to dismantle and pick apart another world-class boxer. Teofimo Lopez, I don't want you guys to think that Teofimo Lopez is overrated now, because now when you say that, you're taking away the accomplishment of Shakur Stevenson. Oh yeah, what's going on? Yasira Lee. Oh, you say, which fighter can you see beating him or giving him a tough fight? The only fighter that I can see giving him a tough fight but not necessarily beating him is a young fighter that has similar twitchiness, like Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason could give him problems because of his quickness and his reach and his height. I could see Devin giving him problems, only because Devin is just as tactical, right? Devin is not loose with his. He's not irky jerky. He's very economical with his punches, and he's good with his jab as well. I can see that. But when it comes down to fighting, and these are just guys that could give him problems. They're not going to beat him. When it comes down to literally fighting boxing, like fighting the style of Shakur, because he's a boxer first, he does that better than you. It's sort of like saying who's going to win in a 3-point contest against Stephen Curry. Not many guys. I mean, you'll come close, but he's better than you in that department. He may not be the best jumper, he may not be the best dunker, but in terms of shooting 3-pointers, you're not going to beat him. I believe in the realm of boxing in terms of being tactical and being very strategic, staying in range, but out of range where they can't hit you. This is the thing that's so alarmed about Shakur Stevenson. And I don't think that people are giving him credit in terms of his IQ and his intellect. I've never seen a guy stay in range to get hit, but yet he's out of range. It's weird. I kept watching his feet. I'm like, oh, he's close enough to get hit, but Tio can't reach him. But he can reach Tio. I'm like, how? He's hard to figure out. So yes, Abdullah Mason can give him problems. Like I said, Devin Haney could give him problems because Devin Haney is a natural bigger guy. I think they would have to meet at a catch weight of some sort. I think that Shakur Stevenson looked good at 140. I think he had power. He had pop on his punches. He looked good at 140. I don't know how he would look if he moved up to 147, if he'll become slower, if he'll become compromised in terms of his skill set. But I think Devin Haney and Abdullah Mason are the 2 fighters I can think of right now that can give him problems. That's it. Because you can't hit him. And he frustrates you. You can see the frustration on Teofimo Lopez's face. It's almost like after the second or third round, he already conceded to like, I can't do this. Let me just make sure I just don't get KO'd here. But I'm going to give my best, but I can't reach this guy. Tank struggled with. Now, I don't like the triangular theory. I don't. But I'm gonna insert it. Okay. I don't like it, but I'm going to use it for my argument, but I'm going to tell you why. If Tank struggled with a Roach who's patient, who sits in the pocket, right? Because Roach is not like a pit bull. No, pit bull's all over the place. And you saw Tank pick him apart with actually one hand because one of his hands were hurt. Tank likes for you to be aggressive, and Tank starts out very slow. If you watch most of his fights, he's very calculated. He's not a guy that throws volume punches. I think if Tank fought Shakur would frustrate Tank because the jab, he'll be jabbing. His reach is longer than Tank's. He'll be jabbing him away, and Tank would get frustrated, and basically what happened to T.O. would happen to Tank. And I know Tank is explosive, so is T.O. Now I would make the argument. I think that Tank is more explosive in terms of punching power than T.O. But you can't hit Shakur. That's the problem. You can't hit him. I was watching the fight. I'm like, dude, touch him. You can't touch him. Now, Teofimo did have some body shots. He snuck in some body shots in there, but that's about it. In terms of landing flush on this guy, Shakur, on my screen, I'm sorry, you can't do it. I remember when I watched Mayweather in his prime or in his heydays. Every time he fought, I would always think, okay, this is the fight that somebody's going to get to him. And every time I thought he made great boxers look bad. That's how you know you're a great. When you make a boxer who's good look like an amateur, you're like, oh, what happened? So I don't think Tank will give him problems. Oh man, Keyshawn Davis' performance. I was afraid when he came into the ring because I thought that Ortiz would give him problems. I thought that he should have taken because all the things that he went through psychologically, right? The last fight, the stuff that he went through, not missing weight, then he got into the fight, into all the stuff that he was going through out of the ring, out of the boxing ring. I thought that him just jumping into this fight with Ortiz, who has the experience, remind you, Keyshawn only has like about at this moment 13 fights, now 14, but at the time 13 fights. So I thought that the experience factor with Ortiz would play a huge role, and I thought that Ortiz fighting Loma strong and tight and fighting Teofimo Lopez strong and tight would cause Keyshawn to have more of a struggle than I saw last night. I admit I was wrong about Keyshawn. I didn't think that he would fight that well. I think he looked good. Now, some people talked about his footwork. His footwork was fine to me. I thought he stayed in the pocket in order to admit and to put forth damage on Ortiz. He just looked good. He hits with power. I loved it. I loved it. I think that Ortiz just started to kind of do circus stuff, trying to be like Ali in the ring because he knew that I've already lost the fight. So let me just pull something out of my a-hole to see if I can just throw this guy off. And I think that it didn't work out for Ortiz. And he made Ortiz look pedestrian. Ortiz had moments here and there, but not enough. So I think Keyshawn Davis's performance was amazing. I liked it. And to be honest with you, and I know Shakur said he'll never fight Keyshawn because they're brothers. I think Keyshawn Davis can be, if they did fight, would be a person that can give Shakur problems. But they're never going to fight. They already like sworn some brotherly oath that we're never going to fight each other. So go back to your question earlier, which was a very good question. Abdullah Mason, Devin Haney, and Keyshawn Davis are the only three fighters that I think that would give. But you know what? Before this Teofimo Lopez fight, I would have said Teofimo Lopez. But look at the way he made Teofimo Lopez look. That's why I said there are levels to this. I think that when great fighters, when they know their opponent and they've studied their opponent, and I think most of the things that we do when we make predictions, we're just using empirical evidence. We're using past fights in order to sort of like paint the picture, right? We're trying to paint the canvas to say, okay, how do we think this portrait is going to look? How do we think this painting is going to look? And we're taking past fights and we're trying to make sense of it all. And we're trying to think of each fighter at their best. But sometimes we don't even know a fighter's best until they get in the ring. Because last night, that was the best Shakur I've ever seen because of the way he made another good fighter look. Not because he knocked him out, not because it was a first round knockout, not because he just broke him down. You say thoughts on Keisha? Oh, you say also any fighters who can give Key a tough fight or beat him at 147. Um, Haney, not beat him. Haney, tough fight. I don't know about beating him. Haney. Now Boots is at 154. I think Boots is up, so Boots is not at 147. I would say, well, no, Boots is not at 147 anymore. I would just say Haney right now, the top of my head. Uh, I'm sure I'm probably missing somebody, but I think Haney's that wild card, right? Because the way he looked against Norman Jr., which he didn't look that good. I mean, he knocked down Norman Jr., but after the knockdown, the fight was just like, man, it was almost like, okay, what are you doing? He kind of reverted back to being too safe. Um, yeah, I think he called out Haney, so I think Haney is the one that I could think of right now that would give that would make it a tough fight, tough fight. Yeah, but yeah, man, Shakur Stevenson, he's unbeatable, dude. And all I'm asking for now, I'm at the point now, I'm just asking for somebody to give him a fight. I want to see him struggle. The only time I saw him struggle was against De Los Santos, and that's because he was compromised. Um, Padley, of course, without question, Padley was alerted on short notice, and he dismantled him. Even the fight before Padley, I think he fought against some Middle Eastern guy. I forgot how to even pronounce his name. He broke him down, and people were leaving booing. I'm like, what do y'all want from this guy? I mean, you guys get perfection, and you're still booing. I think people are giving Shakur Stevenson a hard time. KOing people is not as easy as people think. And because he's a very careful boxer, his knockout rates won't be high because he doesn't put himself in harm's way. Any boxer that's going to sit up there and go for a knockout is likely to get knocked out. You have to allow the knockout to come naturally. And if you're going in there seeking it, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Yeah, man, it's a great night. So this guy, Shakur Stevenson, is unbeatable. He's unbeatable. And I think people need to start saying that. And I think the reason why I say people need to start saying that is because the boxing world needs to, especially people in his weight class, they need to start getting ready to beat him. He's the guy he's the Super Bowl of boxing right now. And I need everyone to give him their best shot in order to make the fight exciting. Now, I'm not saying that the fight last night was not exciting because the anticipation, there was excitement built in anyway. Just watching him pick apart Shakur was amazing to watch. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. And yeah, he's unbeatable, guy. He's unbeatable. He's the only person that I've seen. I'm 45 years old. I've been watching boxing for a while. He's the only person that reminds me of Mayweather. And I'm not saying he's Mayweather. Don't curse me out. Don't get mad. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he's as great as Mayweather because his career is still in flux. But what I am saying is that when I used to watch Mayweather fight, he was untouchable. This guy's untouchable. He controls the fight. He frustrates you. He makes you look like an amateur. I think Gary Antoine Russell gives him problems. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he's rough, man. He's rugged. He's tenacious. Yeah, Gary Antoine Russell. That's a good one. Yeah, because he doesn't care. He has a jaw. He has a chin. Yeah, he's rough. Yeah. You're right. Styles make fights. Because he's not gonna do all that try to twitchy stuff like, Tio. He just coming in. He doesn't care. And I could see Shakur being more on his back foot. But if you watch Shakur's fights, he's also a very good tactician off the back foot. You saw that against William Zepeda, because William Zepeda is a volume puncher. But I would make the argument that Gary Antoine Russell is a harder puncher. Yeah, Gary Antoine. Yeah, he's different. He's a wild dude. He's an animal, man. There's certain guys that are boxers. There's certain guys that are just animal. When I see him, I just see animal. It's an animal. He's an animal. I feel like Shakur can catch him though, or am I tripping? No. Shakur could, yeah, he could catch him coming in. Yeah. He could catch him, but it'll be a tough fight though. And this is just me speculating because I thought this fight with T.O. was gonna be a tough fight. And look how he made it look easy. See, I think that when you're fighting somebody and you're boxing and fighting are two different things. I think that, and this is just my opinion, a boxer denotes skill. Fighting denotes tenacity and will, right? You have will and you have skill. A, a boxer denotes using skill. So if you have will to come in against skill, skill can strip your will. Because if your will is to hit him and you can't hit him, then you're already demoralized psychologically and you're done. The fight's over. When I saw Teofimo Lopez's face after the second or third round, how he was like, that frustration, I knew it was over. Same thing that happened with Canelo and Crawford. You saw the frustration on Canelo's face. Like, man, I can't hurt this guy. I can't hit him. Remember in the press conference, they asked Canelo, what bothered you? What happened in there? What was so hard about Crawford? He said, everything. Everything. He couldn't even name it. He said, man, everything, man. And I think that's what skill brings to the table. If you have a will and you're an animal, that animal is actually going to work against you. You have to have animal and skill. And not to say that Gary Antoine Russell doesn't have skill, but if he's coming in with tenacity, Shakur can strip that away quickly. What happened to your eye? What happened to your eye? It hurts? I see it. What happened to it? You were playing around, you hurt it? Who hurt it? Paisley hurt it? When, today? Y'all need to be careful. Don't play rough, okay? Okay, let me finish this video, okay? You'll feel better. Sorry about that. Y'all need to stop. Don't play rough, okay? Yeah, man. So, yeah, that was my little daughter. They rough, you know how kids are, rough housing. But yeah, man, that's what I think, dude. I feel like Shakur can catch him. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that surprised people last night, that Shakur does have power. Now, I'm not saying he's like Mike Tyson power, but if he was pillow fisted, as people assumed, then you would have saw Teofimo Lopez more on the front foot and see Shakur on the back foot. But if you watched last night, you saw how intentional Shakur was about just staying in the pocket. Even when Teofimo would come up, he would kind of he would go back about an inch, but still stay in that pocket. And yeah. Masterclass. You have to respect the power. Now, it doesn't mean that the power is like all world, but it's enough to keep you back. And that's why Teofimo Lopez could not be more on the front foot. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to make this video too long because I got some other things to do. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Yasir Ali. I hope I'm saying that right. But thank you for tuning in and asking these questions, because I didn't even intend this video to go long, but you asked very good questions. You kept me engaged, and thank you. Thank you for the 3 people that did tune in. And until next time, subscribe and like the video. If you like my content. I'm not a big YouTube guy. I just do this for fun. I'm not getting paid off of this stuff. I just like to do this just to talk boxing and talk about other topics as well. So take care, guys. Thank you guys for watching. All right, peace out. Till next time.